Hello and welcome to Sammy Spotlight. I'm your host, Austin Patrick. Today we are joined by Norley Servin, the president of Active Minds at Sam Houston. We got a great show today, so stay tuned. So, Norley, tell me, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
So, for people who don't know, please tell us what Active Minds is.
Of course, Active Minds is a nonprofit organization on campus and nationally that focuses on mental health awareness and education.
All right. And then, do y'all have a mission statement on SAM?
Yes, our mission statement is to spread awareness about mental health, resources on campus and off campus, along with just spreading education.
And then, how many members do y'all currently have?
We currently have like 36, so yeah, we're currently growing.
And so, you're the president. What responsibilities do you take on?
Of course, so I do publicity events like these. I also am in charge of our meetings, so we talk about different topics in every meeting. So I compose all of those PowerPoints and presentations to just inform our members about different topics within mental health.
So what does a typical meeting look like for you?
A typical meeting would be me getting there, having some IT issues, you know, the usual, and setting up our meeting, going through announcements and diving deep into our subject. So whatever that may be, and of course engaging with our members and seeing what input they may have for us and for other mental health resources on campus.
And then how long have y'all been on campus?
We've been an established chapter since 2015, but we've kind of had to start from the ground up around 2020.
And so what mental illnesses does Active Minds cater to?
We cater towards depression and anxiety, but of course we're open to a lot of mental health illnesses. We're just trying to get rid of the stigma surrounding mental health and of course vocalize the awareness of it all.
What kind of stigmas come with mental health?
Well, a lot of people think that if you have mental health issues, that you're automatically weak, that you're not strong-minded, or that you're crazy. But of course, that's not the case. And we're just trying to get rid of those stigmas and, of course, just vocalize the issues, because that's mainly the issue, since a lot of people don't talk about mental health and it's kind of just something on the side. We're trying to put it in the forefront and show that it's okay to not be okay, and that we have a community here on campus for people.
So you use communication to get rid of the stigma?
Yes.
Are there any other methods?
Activities as well. So like we'll have stress last week at the end of each semester. We also go through burnout. We talk about burnout because we know that that's a really big thing amongst college students. We also talk about we do drawing activities. So we just color together and, you know, just have activities like that where we can just decompress and just chill out for a second.
So how did you come to find Active Minds?
I found out about Active Minds through OrgLink, which is our organization website on campus, around September of 2020. I was personally kind of bored. I wanted to see what was on campus, and when I saw Active Minds, it really intrigued me because I've always been a big advocate for mental health. So knowing that we had a chapter on campus that focused on the awareness of it was super cool to me. So I joined, and now almost 2 years later, I'm here.
So Active Minds is a national organization, correct?
Yes.
So do you work with other chapters?
We haven't yet, but we always remain in communication with other chapters. Sometime last year, Pace University, which is a university in New York, contacted us and was trying to remain in communication so we could collaborate in the future. We still haven't yet, but of course, we're more than willing to collaborate with other universities around us.
And so that leads me to ask, how has COVID-19 affected the chapter?
Oh my goodness, where to start? I think COVID-19 really affected our memberships. And of course, it also affected mental health as a whole. There's been a lot of statistics about how we've been in a mental health crisis. So of course, COVID-19 happened and it kind of shut everything down, and it affected our membership count. So a lot of people weren't aware about OrgLink, they weren't aware about Active Minds. So as I mentioned before, we had to start from the ground up. So we had to start having more tabling events, collaborate with other groups to get our name back out there. Of course, I feel like it's helped a lot, and now we have, well, we used to have 7 members, and now we have like 35, 37. So it's a really big change. And of course, it also has affected mental health. So a lot of people have come to us and they're like, I've been struggling with my mental health because of COVID. Being isolated really affected me. What can I do? What are my resources? Who can I talk to? And of course, we're there to guide them.
And so what organizations have you worked with at SAM?
We have worked with, we're currently working with the Writers Guild. We have a event coming up with them. We've worked with the Honors College a lot. We have also worked with the Counseling Center, with the Health Center, and we have worked with other sororities and frats, so that's really exciting. And we still have a lot of collaborations coming up, so.
So what is the event that you have with the Writers Guild?
Right now we have a journaling session, a journaling social. So we're all gonna meet up and journal about our feelings, of course, and just show healthy techniques, well, good techniques to healthy, mental health, and a way to decompress through journaling.
And then, so do you have any tips for journaling?
Of course. One of my tips is to go in with a clear mind. Journaling is for yourself, not for others. So I wouldn't recommend going in and thinking that this is gonna get published. Of course, just write your feelings, play some music, turn on a candle, something to just motivate you, and just get your writing flow going.
So what other events do y'all have planned for the semester?
We also have 2 volunteer events coming up. We have a volunteer event with the Covenant House for some toiletry donations. We also have another volunteer event with All Paws Up. And we are also having Stress Last Week at the end of the month, at the end of April, beginning of May, to decompress and get ready for finals. But as of now, those are all of our events for now.
All right. And then how can students get involved with those events?
Just come out and join us. We have all of our events on OrgLink, so of course if anybody isn't sure when we have our meetings or what volunteer events we have coming up, OrgLink is the best way to check. Instagram, the power of social media, of course. We post everything on all of our socials so people can go and check out what we're doing, who we are, and how to join.
All right. And so tell me more about the Stress Less event.
Of course. So we normally have an interactive booth and we give out little free goodies. So of course, what college student doesn't love free stuff? So we usually give out little bags of little essentials, so like hand sanitizer, pens, pencils, notepads, stuff of that sort that would help with studying. But also we have interactive games. So last semester what we did, we had bubble wrap and people came up and popped bubble wrap. And of course, if they were on the go, we would rip a little piece of it and they would take it. So that's what we normally do. I think for this semester, we might do a little bit of a spinning wheel moment. So that's gonna be really exciting.
I'm excited for y'all. And so for your meetings, do y'all usually bring in organizations or speakers?
We do a little bit of both. So normally we speak, one of our representatives speak, whether it's me or a vice president or anybody else who wants to speak on whatever topic we're talking about that day. But we usually do pair up with the Health Center, the Office of Health Promotions as well. So we'll get one of their representatives to come over and just conversate with us about whether that's stress, burnout, or even depression.
And so from a student standpoint, do you think it's more helpful when a professional talks to the students or whenever a fellow student talks to them?
We've noticed that both really resonates with the members. They love hearing someone who is a professional and works on campus to speak to us, but they also really appreciate a student's engagement, like another fellow student. They really appreciate stuff like that. So either route works really best for us, works well for us.
And then do you have any stories? They don't have to be your own, but just of anybody else.
Of course. So last semester we had our suicide prevention exhibit called Sense Silence Packing, in which we had backpacks all across the lawn to represent each life lost yearly due to suicide. And we had several people coming up to us and telling us how much they appreciated the exhibit and how eye-opening it was. Of course, it was a very somber experience, but it was also very eye-opening to see how many people have been directly affected by someone who has died by suicide. So it was really touching to see how many people were just happy that this awareness was happening, especially on campus.
What is the setup process for that?
The setup process is usually the National Active Minds organization comes with a really, really big trailer, and then they'll give us a guide of where the backpack should be placed, and we also have an interactive booth, so that has to be set up somewhere. So normally they'll give us a map, and then we have to put down each backpack, which took about an hour. It was a really long process, but of course we wanted to make it as perfect as possible.
Are there similar events to this or exhibits?
We're currently working on contacting other organizations to see if they want to create another exhibit with us, and we're also looking into the Green Bandana project as well.
What is the Green Bandana project?
So it's a like an organization in which they have green bandanas that you can put on your backpack or on your wrist, wherever you may be, wherever you could, to make it visible, to show other people that you're more than willing to talk to them, and that you are trained, because it is a trained course that you must take before receiving the bandana and putting it somewhere visible.
And then have you been through this training process?
Not yet. We're currently still looking into it. We're really hoping to do it next semester, since we're most likely not going to have the Sense Silence Packing exhibit again. So we really want to have a really interactive activity with our members and anybody who just wants to get the training course for Mental Health Awareness Week.
All right. And so where can students reach you if they wanted to reach out to y'all?
Of course. So as I mentioned, our social media, so our Instagram is Active Minds SHSU, as well as our Instagram and our Facebook. And they could also reach us at our email, activeminds@sam@gmail.com. So if anybody wants to join us or collaborate with us, they're more than free to contact us through there.
All right. And then, so what resources would you say are available to the students at SAM?
We have a counseling center here on campus that you can book an appointment with to talk to a professional, and we also have a lifeline.
All right. Thank you. Well, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you, Norley, for joining us and letting us get to know Active Minds. And join us next week for another episode of Sammy Spotlight. Have a great day.